So I'm happy to be finally working on this stencil, and I'm going to cut a leaf stencil, and I'm going to do it on some old vinyl wallpaper. And it still has the paste on it, and the first time that I use it I'll leave the paste on there. When I wash it after I use it, I'll spend a little time with my brush scrubbing the paste off, and then I'll let it dry. And the vinyl makes it so these can be used a number of times. These are some old ones. Using this vinyl, it's very easy to cut a stencil with an X-Acto knife to a pretty precise pattern without killing your fingertips the way that usually happens when we do these things. And if you've ever cut through thick plastic, you know that it's killer on your fingers. This is a stencil that I cut myself with painting and stitching on it as well, and some metallic threads and different threads in the quilting. And of course you need to leave a thick enough area between your lines that it doesn't just fall apart. And this stencil will last not forever, but you'll be able to use it I would say a good 50 times if your design isn't too delicate and you're not too hard on it when you're using it and when you're washing it. And so this is something I didn't think of this. Someone else showed me how to do this, and someone had shown her, and it's really the way to go if you want to do some easy, nice stenciling. If you've never stenciled before, you might want to go ahead and pick up an inexpensive plastic stencil design that you like at a local craft source and play with that first. Either stenciling on a piece of furniture, you know, a little planter box, or on the wall. It's fun to do cute things. And once you've learned a few techniques that you're comfortable with working with the stencils, then working up to doing it on fabric, or you can just go for it. But I'm just going to cut this, and it's going to take me a few minutes, but I'm going to work on it. There we have it. When I use it, because there's the glue on here and because it's curling up, I am actually going to turn it over and use it with this side. Okay, so I've cut a quilt piece, and I usually use hand dyes. This is just a kind of a nice, technically I think it's a batik, but it's different than what you think of as a batik. Maybe it's a hand dyed, I'm not sure. But at any rate, I have a lot of it, and I think it's attractive. And what I'm going to do is attempt to do a black, brown, coppery artichoke over the top of this. And we'll see how that works out. Okay, so as I say to my husband far too often, it's not rocket science. We're just going to stencil on fabric. It's going to be a little bit spongier than stenciling on a wall, and there are different kinds of brushes available. I actually always seem to like using this sponge one that's seen better days. These are new for me. They're kind of spongy. I haven't tried that yet. Here's my little sponge one that's in better shape than the big one. So I'm gonna stencil this, and I'm doing another project today that I'm gonna stencil this on. The one I'm gonna use today for this purse is that one. There are different kinds of inks. These are stencil inks that were my mom's. I think these would work. I've never use them. These are clean up with mineral spirits. So this wouldn't be my first choice. I like these ones that are clean up with water that you can get online at a place called Dharma Trading. This is Versatech, and there are lots of different colors. You can get these little ones came in some kind of starter pack where you could get a bunch and start playing around with those. I think I got a couple starter packs, and then the bigger ones you order one at a time, and they come taped up so that they won't spill out. And so I'm just gonna do 3 artichokes on this purse, and I've cut this. It's full doubled over, and I just have some ugly old napkin fabric on the back, and mine is 22 by 34 because not only am I gonna want my bag to be wide if it can be, but we're gonna wash this. Unlike the color wash, we're gonna actually shrink this after we heat set our inks and paints, and I'm leaving enough at the top to do my 3 to 4 inch quilt extension that goes on the inside of the bag, and the jeans attach to it, and then this attaches at the top. And so I'm wanting the face of my bag, you know, the bottom will square off, the top will lose some, and so I want the face of my bag to be here. And I usually have done 3 or 4 of these, and after it sets overnight, I will quilt it, then I will paint it, then I will heat set it, and then I will wash it. So this is when that issue of value, which is a way of talking about contrast, comes up, because you don't want to go to all this trouble and then not have what you've done even show up on your work. So I'm going to be experimenting here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is try to go first with my brown. And I don't usually thin this, but I get some on my paper towel, and you just get a sense for it. You want it thick and loaded, but not too thick. And I'm not sure how this is going to show up, but let's see if I can get it to work out. So you don't ever smear a stencil, because then you'll go underneath, and it's really easy to go underneath, and it's not critical that it be perfect, but it has to be pretty good for it to look nice. So I'm going to try to daub on this brown. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna do some of the black. See if I like it, and if I don't, since I should have tested this. Okay. I kind of like the way it looks, a little sloppy, but I kind of like the way that looks. Okay, so it's a little sloppy. I've got this runny ink, and this is not perfect right there, but we're gonna go forward and we're gonna make it work. What I might do, famous last words here, I should get a real paintbrush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just fix that a little bit. And it's blacker over here than over here. This is out front drying. I think it's going to look okay. And you know, when you see something in nature, often the shadow is darker on one side and fades over. So I'm going to go with that and see how it works. And again, my bag will square off at the bottom. My top few inches will be my quilt extension. And so that's what I'm going to, and now I've got my other little project that I'm going to do really quick. This is one of my hand-dyed fabrics. So in case you were ever wondering, this is why sometimes there's a little bit of stray paint or silkscreen ink on my machine cutting mat. Good blouse. For the record, I do not think fabric stenciling has to be perfect to look good with what we're doing here. Here I am cleaning the stencil in the sink with a tray that I bought at the dollar store when I first started this. I just like to use the brush to get the paint off the front of the stencil, and now I'm scrubbing the back to try to get the glue. You can really feel it on there if you've ever wallpapered. It's just a thick amount of adhesive, and so I scrub that off the best that I can. Usually there's a little bit left to scrub off the next time because I usually don't do it thoroughly enough to get every little bit of the adhesive off. But once it's done, I lay it out on paper towels, and they tend to curl up. And so I don't lay them with the glue side down, plus I don't want it to stick to the paper towel while there is any residue of glue on there still. And so I put them with the print side down, the vinyl side down, and you can see that the ink has stained my stencil a little bit in some places, which is fine. As long as it's washed off enough that it doesn't transfer onto your next project, it'll be usable again. I actually think that the artichoke stencil has been used at least 100 times. Join me next video when we'll free motion quilt this and do a little bobbin drawing with some metallic thread. Then we'll paint with metallic fabric paints, let it dry overnight, heat set our piece as per the instructions, and then wash it.